treat another human being better, this is where we go. So I don't care what ethnic group, what you believe or don't believe. At the end of the day, if you conquer someone, okay, people not conquering people just because of their ethnic group, or you believe that God is favoring one group over another group. Come on, guys.
So are you preaching to me like a what? Like
first of all, young. First of all, young. I'm not talking to you anymore.
Okay.
You know why? Okay, great. Thanks. I'm talking to the whole room based on the title. Okay. Each person today is only talking about these different ideologies. At the end of the day, these are ideologies. My question goes back to, does any of these ideologies change my behavior no matter what continent I live on? That's the difference. If it doesn't make me a better human being to treat all people with kindness, then why am I believing anything?
I think
I'm just trying to figure out where God said to support Gaza.
I think part of the problem is that
welcome to Clown World. Retards who spend all day long on a conference call app talking about retarded things all day long, non-stop.
You mentioned the idea of people being black and white and
things. I already told you. I'm going to turn the AC down in a minute.
I said it. I already made the statement.
So correct me.
No, hear what I'm saying. I don't give a damn. I'm saying what I'm saying so you know. Let me say it out loud. So here's what it is. What they're saying, as far as the Israelites and many other people that is not Hebrew Israelites, they know this is true because they studied it. But I'll say this first. The last thing, this thing I'm saying, I don't believe in racism. I don't believe in racism stuff. Don't believe in that. That's the only thing with them, and also the way they're probably gonna go with that type of stuff. I don't believe in that. Everything else, they're on point. They're not lying about it. I've studied it. Back and forth. Me and Ethan, the same thing that Ethan's bringing up.
I didn't say you believed in racism. I said you believe that. I said that you believe that race happens to be ethnicity. So therefore, if the ancient Israelites were a particular skin color, particular race presenting, that means that is their ethnic group, and that presentation should be the managing ethnic group of whatever that group of people represent based off of skin color. But if you had
just trying to get rid of
it is a common
we're not saying the opposite thing.
So imagine you had a couple had 9 sons, right? The same couple, husband and wife, had nine sons. And 3 of those sons went into Europe, 3 of those sons went into Africa, and 3 of those into Asia. And they had their own. Are those people still the same ethnic group? Do they still come from the same or tribe of people? And even if their skin colors, quote unquote, the skin color of their descendants are more like the people that they're around. Yeah, they have the same because they have the same original root, right? And that is effectively what happened with the Jews over time. You have some that went into Asia. You have some, or Israel Jews, whatever you want to call them. You have some that went into Asia. You have some that went into Europe. You have some that went into Africa. And those groups of people had different groups of children, but they still maintain their identity. And the reason why people don't really understand a lot of this stuff is because they're transposing modern day Western society on Europe 200, 300 years ago, and the Middle East 200, 300 years ago, where people were not able to switch their quote unquote religion or ideologies like they can switch their underwear in the West, right? In America, you can wake up a Jew, you can have lunch and become a Muslim, and you can die, or you can go to sleep in the evening and be a Christian. In the older world, you couldn't do that.
Well, conversion is possible. Converting to another religion is possible.
Devin, I'm talking about modern day.
You're missing the biggest point. It's called free will of conversion. What the hell do you not get that?
One second. 200 years ago in the Middle East, if somebody were to say that they were going to be a Jew, they would get their head cut off if they weren't really a Jew. They were that was both in Europe and Eastern Europe, as well as the Middle East. And even Ethiopia. If you were to say that you were a Jew, you tell everybody around you, they will cut your head off. You couldn't just convert and become a Jew. You could likely convert and become a Christian or a Muslim, because that was normative. And Jews were forced in all of those places. They had reduced rights. They didn't even have citizenship. Jews in Europe lived in ghettos. Jews in the Middle East lived in particular palaces and neighborhoods.
Don't impose on
Jimmy.
another
It was
human
called
being
Jimmy
to
status.
believe in a deity
Yes,
against their
Shut the
will.
fuck
Do
up,
you
Sam.
understand that?
Shut the fuck up, Sam.
No, you
They
go
had,
fuck yourself, you little bitch.
Okay,
have-
that was uncalled for.
They had a demi status,
Call
which is
for
a
him
second
to
class
tell
status.
me that.
Which is a second class status in society. Maybe even sometimes a third class status in society. You couldn't just become a Jew if you were not a part of that group. You would be killed. People just sort of pretend.
We understand that.
So why am I
People
Well, Sam's a Coptic Christian, so I mean, I think he knows about that pretty well.
Okay, so Sam will probably know, but most people in the West, these people who talk about the Khazars and all of these people, they really don't understand what the old world was like.
It means you, Pepe.
Oh,
Well, no, I don't think that there was like these white people pretending to be Jews. First of all,
On some days you do. On some day, today you don't, but some days you
that's
do.
bullshit. Because first of all, I'm just gonna be very frank with saying this. Throughout European history, being a Jew is like being a fucking leper or a
black person.
a fucking gypsy. They're looked down upon. I mean, why the fuck would anybody do that?
Don't forget about Albert
ask
Einstein and
yourself
Sigmund
why.
Freud.
That's the whole point, is why.
The difference is you can
Hold on to
blend
it
in,
deep.
like Josephus,
Benjamin Disraeli.
If you can pass,
You
you
know.
be good. But the moment you give your ideology,
What about Benjamin Disraeli?
But the black Jews got kicked
He was
out
a Jewish
of,
prime minister.
different places like the Spanish Inquisition and stuff.
He wasn't a
The
leper.
visual ones- The visual black people got kicked out, but the ones who were our brothers and sisters, who blended in, mulatto or whatever, they were able to blend in, so they could pass the moment. That's why they have this conflict still today. Like, hey, oh well, I'm white. Oh well, I'm actually Jewish. Let's not say that because you can't tell on the exterior. So that's what divided up Israel in the sense too. Also, Josephus, he was able to go with the Romans, even though he fought against them. So that's what we have today. It's the same thing. Happening.
Wait, what does it mean to be white?
Right.
What does it mean to be
That's a
white?
misnomer too, right? That's a
It means no.
It is.
White.
It definitely is.
White is just a skin color category.
I just said that it's a misnomer. That's
Yeah.
the point of why I
So
said
that's
that.
that's not necessarily what a
A misnomer is not really.
Whiteness is a skin color category. No, whiteness is a skin color category.
Okay, well, let the whites
So-
speak for the. I mean, most of us consider it. It just means you're of European descent, really.
But I mean, that's what it means today, generally. And quite honestly, a lot of North Africans are considered white, and they do not have European descent. A lot of Turks are considered white. I guess you can consider them.
They do
black.
have
Yeah, for the
European
census
European
purpose,
descent.
yes.
That's what made
Yeah.
the mix.
So, but not even for census purposes, for social purposes as well. But it wasn't always that way. It wasn't even that way 100 years ago. It just sort of became
No, it
normal.
always was in the U.S. We had like what we would consider, but like the Anglos would consider the newcomers, especially Southern and Eastern Europeans, as being like ethnic trash in comparison to
Yes,
themselves.
ethnic
But
trash.
they were the whole reason they were even allowed to immigrate here is because they were considered white. Our Immigration Act only allowed free white people to come here.
Most of those people were not able. They were
Not
able
the
to
Irish.
become residents, but not citizens.
No, the Irish
They were
were
not able to
definitely allowed
become
to come
citizens.
here.
Irish were considered white, what, in the 1800s?
Yeah.
Later.
Now, people were racist against them, especially the Anglos, and the Irish, also hated the Anglos. But we ended up putting the nation of origins quota, I believe, is it 1924, so that we wouldn't have as many Southern and Eastern Europeans coming here. But no, they were always considered white. There were a few. The only thing that would really, I guess, they did consider somewhat people from the Levant white. So you did have people that came from Syria and Lebanon in small numbers, and they were classified as white.
Yeah, but there were court
other than that-
cases. There were court cases of them petitioning to be considered white.
Yeah,
Right.
there was
So,
a police officer in California who arrested a white man, and the defendant, basically this went to the Supreme Court, but his argument was that, well, this man's not white, and at the time you had to be white in order to arrest a white citizen, and the Supreme Court ruled that he was white. So
the fact that there were court cases and questions about it proved that there was some ambiguity.
There's always ambiguity, but so there's no clear line where the racial distinctions, like with Europeans, you can get people from the Caucasus and Western Asia, the Levant, even not so much North Africa today, but more so in the past. There wasn't like a clean law. It's kind of like a gradient where you have people that are in proximity to Europe. They're obviously related to us. But then, obviously the further you go away from Europe, they start looking a lot different from us, and they are a lot different. But if you look outside the boundaries of Europe, there is a drastic change in culture and religion.
Yeah.
I mean, you have some Christians in the Levant, but then that's when they have, the different Middle Eastern languages. Everything's a lot different culturally as well. So it's just a useful way to, I would say, not just racially, but culturally classify a group of people.
It has areas of applicability and inapplicability that vary with time and place.
Okay, Shah. Did I pronounce it correctly? S-H-A-I?
Shah, yes.
Okay, Shah. This is my question for you, based on your understanding. Were people considered religious based on their ethnic group, or were they just considered, like, being born in a Jewish family may not be your ethnicity or nationality, or vice versa? Okay, so my question to you is, where are we right now on the timeline of looking at people based on their belief system of the title of the room versus their ethnicity?
I think that each of those societies have different things. So Jews have always had a how do you say,
Genetic.
like a plurality of beliefs within Judaism. You can see it in the Old Testament. You can see it in the New Testament. There's not like a distinct belief. It's not like if you are a Christian, you have a particular, but you have to believe in Jesus in order to be a Christian and accept whatever those tenets are. Or like in Islam, you have to believe in the Prophet Muhammad and as the final prophet and all that comes with this. So Jews have always. So all of them are different. They all have their own requirements to be a part of the society. But you also have the Armenians, right, and the Chaldeans. These groups of people they have their own church and they have their own ethnic group that goes within that church. They are Christians. They are whatever, but they have their own traditions and realities and even somewhat specific beliefs within that Christian form of Christianity that makes them part of their church. And sometimes they accept new members, but for the most part, they don't.
Question for you. When you hear the term Judeo-Christian, right, in the United States, what is your understanding of that basis? Because out of many one in America, they're not looking at all the different ethnic groups, but our foundation is Judeo-Christian. What do you understand by that?
I think it has to do with philosophy. I think it has to do with the way I believe, or the way I understand John Locke sort of taking biblical principles and making that into the secular foundation of America and Western society and how we run our system, and the fact that the majority of the people in America has some form of Christianity as a belief in early America, and also the population or small population of Jews that were there. So a lot of the Americanisms are things that we understand from America. The way the Constitution is formed, the way that the Congress is, the government is formed, a lot of that actually comes from biblical principles that people really have to, you have to read John Locke to really understand where he's coming from and how the founding fathers.
So what's the value? What's the value is there? I'm a Christian and I work at a Catholic university. I'm not familiar.
What, John Locke?
Exactly.
Oh, I'll put a link in the chat for you.
Well, we want to be concerned with trends, I think, and the term Judeo-Christian is becoming more meaningful with time because America is seeing itself as Judeo-Christian. I would say we just voted for a President Trump who is supporting religion in America. What is religion in America? I'm sorry. Religion in America has been Judeo-Christian all along.
Well, I think that so there's a lot of us who I kind of think it's oxymoronic. And if I'm gonna, I'll just be very frank about actual Christianity. First of all, a lot of people, I'll hear Jews complain about, they have a replacement theology, or there's a trend of some Christians wanting a replacement theology. But it's my personal opinion that Christianity was always a replacement theology. That's literally its foundation. In fact, the earliest Christians didn't think very highly of Jews and mistreated them. I don't.
The Christians were Jews.
Huh?
The first Christians were Jews,
The very first Christians.
Yeah, but we killed those people off.
But when you see, but if you look at how.
No, Pepe, hold on. All of the first people in the New Testament
were Jews, I know.
But the Jews who became believers in the
Yes.
way. So when you say the difference, that's why I say Judeo-Christian, the foundation of the United States, is because Jews did convert. All of the New Testament are all Jews who converted to.
Yeah, we know that.
I know that, but you don't treat them the same. You don't look at them the same. You call it replacement. No one's replacing anything. It's called fulfillment.
Sure, I think that fulfillment. Okay, that's fulfillment. So this is what I'll just ask the Jews here. So, okay, now this is obviously pre-Vatican II. This is what the Catholics believed. I believe it's what all the Orthodox still believe. But after the resurrection of Christ, the covenant had been fulfilled with the Jews. The Jews no longer, right around the time of I believe it was the destruction of the Second Temple, there was some time where Jews had to accept Christianity. But according to Christians throughout time, Judaism ceased to exist as a religion. You guys have no covenant with God. The covenant is now with us in the church. That is what they consider, if it's my understanding, that is what they consider replacement theology.
Good luck with that. What was the actual question?
Nobody knows about the covenant.
Exactly. The covenant is still intact. And what covenant are we talking about?
That has not been the Christian view for most of the time Christianity.
But what is the actual question? What's the actual question?
Yeah, okay. The actual question is current Christianity replacing Judaism? No. It never has.
Current Christianity, which Christianity? Because I would say some. Do you look at it as the basic? Well, first of all, okay, I'll just ask it. One of the Jews can answer. What do you guys consider a replacement theology?
I guess the fact that people believe that Jews don't exist anymore, and that the people who are Christians are the real Jews. Sorry, the old Jews, original Jews don't exist anymore, and the new Jews are the church, are the people who believe in Jesus, and and that we Jews are non-existent in the world.
Did middle child speak? What about if it was something all three of us? What about?
I do not believe that at all. What I believe is, let me just answer the question.
All right, anyway, go ahead.
Sam, as they believe, I believe that I believe that Jews still exist. I still believe that Christianity, quote unquote Christianity, because no one in the New Testament ever called himself Christian. Okay, it was called the Way.
No,
we have
they
used
were called the
we have.
Christians. Yes, they were.
Okay, all right, Young. Young. I hear you. Okay, Young.
It's in the Bible. That's all I'm saying.
Young, I got it. Okay, I'm going to say to you, Young, please go back and look at it. They were not. I said again, very clear. They did not call themselves Christian. People say you are Christian or you are those Christians. They did not call themselves Christians.
Peter said, if they call you that, be proud of it.
Okay, you got it. Because you know why? Because they were following Christ. Okay? Whether, and I'm going to say it again, they didn't call themselves, I don't call myself a Christian, but I believe in Christ 1,000%. I'm a kingdom believer. They consider themselves the Way. If you go through all of Scripture, all of doctrine, okay? Christianity is a term used by the world to refer to all those who believe in Christ, but it wasn't a biblical term. I got it. You can put all 3 scriptures in there, use the term Christian, and look at all of them, okay? So, so I believe that Jews still exist.
I will
Okay, that's fine, but
I'll
didn't
use a
Jesus,
passage from Bible.
wasn't the whole message of Jesus basically that you should follow, that you should follow as God, I mean, if anything, they basically condemned the Pharisees as a bunch of sinners.
Fine. We can all argue and keep arguing. What if we
how
just
is that
said,
not a replacement theology? But how is that? Hold on. But how is that not a? That's like the whole messaging is that or not.
Didn't Jesus say?
I did not come to change the law. I only came to fulfill the law of Moshe. Now, let's go into this. Let's say if you have the faith of a little tiny.
What does it mean to fulfill the law?
It means that the Pharisees were going a little off.
No, what does it mean to actually fulfill a law? How do you fulfill the law?
Well, it depends. I'm not going to get into. I'm not a Judaism expert.
No, I'm asking you. You said that you.
I only spoke from the Jesus perspective. I only spoke from the Jesus perspective.
But you are a Christian expert, right?
Yes. Well, we're talking about 10 commandments, but if you want to go into the mitzvot, no, but the mitzvot are also part of the law. So you have, but that's from the Judaism perspective, not the Christian perspective. It's a complicated answer.
Not really.
I should not be in that position to answer it.
You shouldn't be in a position to answer a complicated
From a
question.
Judaism perspective.
Yeah, I can
What does it mean to fulfill?
But I guess the other thing too is I don't get why Jews are offended by what they would consider a replacement theology. The Muslims think that Jesus was only a prophet. He's not the Son of God, and they really don't like what we believe. And I don't find it offensive. They just have a different belief.
I think we're just offended when you try to kill us because of it. Not you personally, but like just.
Well, I've noticed because you have evangelicals, which are rather modern throughout the timeline of Christianity, and they have a very warped view that Christians never traditionally held, that this modern land of Israel is promised to the Jews, where that it was never, Christianity never saw it that way. And no,
Okay.
Israel is the church. I mean, the Catholics have been rather consistent on that. The first Christians.
Yeah, remember.
That's not. It's literally the original Christianity, but that's cool. But
remember.
But in the Orthodox, same view, and I would say they're more old school and traditional. Hold on.
Remember.
They're more old school and traditional than the Catholics. So and most Protestants are not dispensationalists that believe in what the evangelicals do, and so I feel like a lot of it is they're weaponized. Like you hear Jews complaining about the quote unquote replacement theologies in Christianity, because they want us all to be these
what if we do
evangelicals?
What if we do the ultimate replacement theology? The ultimate of ultimate replacement theologies, and we say we all agree on something that we all believe in. As a Muslim, we believe in the eye. As a Jew, we believe in the eye. As a Christian,
Jesus Christ.
Then why don't we go into ultimate replacement AI theology all together as one?
Who is interrupting me just for that? Really?
So I think that you remember, Pepe, for 1,000 years after the death of Jesus, the Romans controlled the land that we call that is Israel, right? And then for another 1,000 years, almost after that, the Romans or the Christians were beaten by the Muslims, and they controlled the land.
That just proves my point. It's never going to stop. So who wants to be there?
That's a good point.
But what was your point, though, Sean?
No, you were talking about the church never. I mean, they saw themselves as replacing it, but they controlled the land. You said these modern evangelicals, they believe that the land is promised to the Jews.
So we're having perpetual arguments. Is that what it is?
All right.
Yes, this perpetual sibling
Perpetual arguments. Okay. Who wants to hang around a place where people always arguing and fighting each other?
It doesn't really matter. Evangelicals can support Israel for whatever reason they believe. But Israel is here not because of the evangelicals. The evangelicals.
No. I think it's ironic is that what I'm saying is that you have these fervent supporters of Israel that are I guess Zionist Christians, and for very different reasons than the Jews. Obviously, they know that when Jesus comes back, you guys are all mostly going to hell.
Okay.
Whereas we kind of we don't have any. We don't believe that the land has to be saved by Jews. We don't have we're not told to be anti-Zionist. We're definitely not supposed to treat Jews bad. But I feel like there's this attack because they think that we're not the real Christians. Unlike they want us to all be like these evangelicals that will support them no matter what.
I just asked one question.
And no, we don't. That's not what we want. You have to get. I don't understand why you believe this. You perpetually say it, and it's actually quite. It's really ignorant of what the people go. Some people go like BB or whatever the evangelicals because they know they get help. But it's really.
So he goes to A, and this guy will go to B, and then once C will go to A.
So
and
I would
B
say
will go to
this.
D.
I do get the. So it's mostly going to be on places like Twitter, but I do see the fucking convention by whiny Jews about how Catholicism is the worst. The Orthodox are the worst. Because it's clear in the Bible. Israel belongs to us. And it's like, don't tell us what our fucking religion, how they interpret our fucking religion. We don't do that. We don't tell Jews what the fuck it is they're supposed to believe in the Torah. So don't do it to us.
First of all, Christians have done this for 2,000 years. Literally, and quite honestly, the entire Christian, this is part of the replacement theory, the entire Christian religion is based off of Judaism and quite a lot of misinterpretations of Judaism, biblical Judaism, rabbinic Judaism.
But you can blame Jesus for that one.
I mean, I really blame Paul. But
can I just ask one question?
Hold on. Drew, you still want to ask the question, Drew? Go ahead.
I just have, all this discussion going on here, all that I really want to know about, all this little semantics and nitpicking aside, is who gave the green light for 1948? That's all I know. And I'm not asking that to be, whatever. Yeah, I'm not trying. I'm genuinely curious.
No, they didn't. The British were retarded.
It happened.
The British abstained from the vote from the UN. This is the retarded part, right? All of this, the war, blah blah blah. There was a war with the United Nations. America voted for it.
How about I'll make it easy? Who cares?
No.
Who cares? It happened. It happened. So what?
I'm
What do you mean?
asking from a religious
What the fuck do you mean 1948?
Why are we even going to go there?
And what's the religious perspective? What's the religious perspective?
Okay, so what, Drew? You're asking from a religious perspective?
Who gave the green light? Where is
Okay, Donkey Kong on Mars. Now
it would depend on which.
I'm asking you a serious question, and
So evangelical Christians will say that the land was promised to them, and it's part of their end times.
But they had no connection to it. They had no connection to the vote of the United Nations.
Hold on.
But he's talking about 1948.
Yeah, Okay, so but how can you make it a religious?
It was inevitable. It was going to happen. Whatever.
When you
it
say,
was
hold
going
on,
to
shut the
happen.
fuck up.
Oh, who's he talking to?
So when it comes to, okay, so you're asking who gave it the green light specifically in 1948?
Your mama.
Religiously? I don't quite understand.
He wants to know
Where is it written? Where is it written? Forget I said 1948, but where is it written that these people would have the green light to go ahead to right?
It's written on a male gay bathroom
United
stall in Jersey.
Nations. United Nations.
What the hell?
I'm asking a serious question.
United Nations.
So
no, I'm asking where. No. Is it in the Bible? Is it in the Torah, the Talmud? Where is it written?
I can only speak for Christianity. Okay, the evangelicals with the Schofield Reference Bible, they do this solo scriptura bullshit where they basically read it and interpret it in ways that they should not, or in a literal way, which the Catholic Church and the Orthodox, they would never allow people to do that. So they in their Bible, okay, it says that they believe that Jews need to go back to Israel. Then there will be wars all over the world, and the whole world will be at war with them. And then at the end times, Jesus will come back, and that's basically the end of the story.
I'll run with that.
At the end of the day, the tribe of Judea, they pulled it off, man. Members from the tribe pulled it off.
There are already wars all over the world, right? There was already World War I. There was already World War II. Then there was World War II at the time. And you have to also remember that even before then,